Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about that React hook, right? So into the React hook, they have the different type of React building method. Now I want to work with this method. Let's start it with useRef. Okay, so now with this useRef method, I want to change that HTML element. So how can do this work? Now step by step, I will show you everything with the live example. And as I told you friend, it's very important one of the topic, make that sure you focus on it. Okay, so let's start it to do this work. For doing this, I want to do right now, we don't need anything. I have already discussed about that route before. Right now I want to close everything, and that is our app.js. And also I want to make it as a clean. I remove everything from here, but I want to create one of the fresh new, our functional component with the RSC, and that is one of the new functional component is successfully created. Right now, if you click as a save all, now our page should be clean. Yeah, we can see our page is totally clean. If you go to that our home, that is totally clean. Great. So now friend, in here in JavaScript, what exactly we do? Like I want to take one of the h1 tag. Simply understand what exactly the things here I want to do. Like I take one of the h1 tag, and into the h1 tag area, if you want to pass some of the ID. Okay, here if you want to pass some of the ID, like I want to pass some of the ID as a my headline. Okay, headline. Now this type of one of the ID I pass. So now if you want to access this ID, okay, if you want to access this ID with JavaScript, what exactly you have to do? In that case, we have to do in JavaScript fundamental. I have already discussed about that things with you. Here I simply name it. I name that another variable as my headline. So now if you want to access this ID, here we have to write down as a document, and then the get element, right? That get element by ID, and here we have to get that our ID. Right here our ID will be which one? That is actually our ID. So in JavaScript here, if you want to get this data, we have to get it by the document and get element by ID, and then that will be our h1 tag ID. So that is actually the process. So now if you want to make it as a short, okay, if you want to make it as a short, now you can actually do this work with using that useRef method. So in that case, only you have to call that our useRef. Okay, you want to use it as a use and then the ref. So that will be useRef, and also make that sure here you have to include it, and that should be also comes from to the React. Okay, now I simply select it, and you can see it successfully imported that React from to the React. Okay, so here make that sure you have to import it. So by default that is now imported, and I simply loaded that our useRef method. Here I simply call it. Okay, so now that is our ID. We don't need to pass anything here. Only we have to pass one of the reference. So that will be as a ref. So that will be as a reference, and into this reference area, now I want to pass that is that variable as a my headline. And you can see now that is very clean and very, very simple one of the code. So only here I use that our method as a useRef method, and also here I import it from to the React, and now that is actually one of the variable here, that is the data. Here I pass it by the reference with the ref, and I simply pass it. So now in particular this element area, we can actually do everything. We can actually add that innerHTML, innerText, class name, everything. We can do this work with very easily by this reference. Like I want to add one of the innerText. How can do this work? Like if you want to do this work, like here after that, okay, here like after that I want to do that is our total element name. I name it with the my headline, right? So into the my headline area, I want to get that our current property. Current property means this one actually, right? So into this current property area, I want to call one of the inner. Okay, that will be the innerText. Okay, I simply added that innerText, and what type of innerText you want to visible? Like I want to visible as a hi Aryan. Now this type of one of the innerText I want to visible. So now if you want to visible it better, if you want to also display that things in your project, better I want to put one of the action. Okay, here after that I want to take one of the button. I take simply one of the button, and into this button area I name it as a click. Okay, that will be as a click of our name, and here I want to make it as an on click. So that will be as a on click, and on click area I want to call one of the function. Okay, so first of all, I want to create one of the new function. Here after that I want to take one of the new function that is a constant. So I simply make one of the constant variable. I just name that function. Function. So if you want to create some of the function, that will be our function. I simply created. Okay, that is an array function I simply created. So into the function area here, better I want to take it. I simply cut it and now I simply paste it. Okay, so that is actually our function name. So I want to do when you click in particular this button, that is the method that will be executed. So I simply added that our change. So that will be as a change method will be executed, and into this change method area here I simply loaded one of the inner text. Now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go and you can see there is also display now one of the button as a click, and now if you click as a click, yes, you can see it's now successfully get that our inner text. So without our get element by ID here, we can actually successfully get it by using that useRef. I hope friend you get some of the point. So here I have passed which things. Here I have passed that as an inner text. So if you also want to pass that inner HTML from our, that is the same action, you can also able to pass it. Like I want to load as a current inner HTML. Okay, I make it as a HTML. So into the inner HTML, when you want to access it, you can also write down some of the HTML code in particular that area. Like for education purpose, I want to take one of the UL. Okay, I take one of the UL is ANDed, and also I take one of the LI. I want to make it as a LI is ANDed, so that will be for the A. Okay, I make it as A, and also I want to take another one. I take another one that will be as a B. So I make it as the same line. You can also make it some of the gap in here. So that is actually 2. One will be as a and also that will be as a B. Okay, so that is one of the inner HTML code, right? So that is UL, LI. So now that I want to check it, that is our inner HTML is executed or not. So in that case, we have to click as a save all again. I want to go, okay, I want to refresh it. And now if you click as a click, yes, you can see it's now successfully also loaded our inner HTML code. And here I hope you already noticed one thing. In useRef method also they have one of the features that will be executed without re-render. That means here when you click as a refresh, after that when you click as a click, and you can see that means here another text is loaded. So here you can also load one of the component, but here you can see that is not refresh anything. Okay, it's actually happening without a refresh this page. If you click as a click, and you can see it's actually loaded without this loading that page. So that is the reasons useRef is actually precised value between the renders. So it will be not rendered your any kinds of component. So now I want to solve another issue. Like here, if you go in particular that position, so right now they have the only one reference. So you may also use it as a multiple reference, right? So into this area, I have only get it by the current, and current means that will be get that our current, that is first reference. Okay, so if you want to actually remove this current option, then you can also remove it. Like in that case, when you remove it, then that will be not executed. I show you. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go, I want to check it, click as a click, you can see it's not working. Because of all, when you use it as a current, then that will be get your first reference. So right now, if you want to also execute it without this current, you can also able to execute it. In that case, you have to do, in that case only I want to create one of the array function. Okay, first of all I want to simply load it one of the array function in particular that area. So into this function area, first of all you have to pass one of the parameter. Like for now that is one of the h1 tag parameter. I want to also pass it by the name as h1. Okay, so h1, into the array function area here, our name I name it as a our useRef. I take that name as a my headline, right? So my headline will be equals to with our, that is the h1. Okay, so when that will be as a h1, then our, that is the things, that is our first reference that will be executed without current. Okay, now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now if you go, I want to refresh it, now click as a click, yes, you can see now that is successfully working. So I hope you get the point. If you don't want to use it as a current, then you have to update it your reference like that way, rather than when you only access that our current, then it will be automatically get that out first reference. It's very important. Make that sure you understand this part. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.